Hello and good morning, welcome to New Forest Morphs, and on today's blog it's Happy Pancake Day. Mandy's just brought me in a pancake. I'm just going to finish that off, Jared, and while I do that you can give a shout out to Elite Exotics for us, send us a sticker.
Elite Exotics, thank you for the sticker. Can't see it too well with the lighting, but it's got a cool holographic side to it. We'll get that on our sticker board. And they got YouTube and Instagram, so go check them out. Elite Exotics. Thank you.
I gave my love a cherry that had no stone. But how can a cherry have no stone, Jared?
Genetically modified? I don't know.
Take it out.
Cool.
A cherry while in blossom, it has no stone. There you go. That's the only singing you're going to get today, hopefully.
Thank goodness.
Hopefully you're going to stay with us. But thank you very much to Elite Exotics. We shall go check you out. Can everyone give them a follow on their YouTube? Big shout out. I love the logo, Joe. It's got something really special about it, I think, because I just love the dragon on there. It's wicked, isn't it? So really, really good. Anyone else that wants to send us stickers? And you've sent some stickers out to Kaz and James and their family this morning. So Kaz, thank you for being patient. James literally just put them in the post and you'll get them in the next couple of days. T-shirts to follow as soon as we get out of lockdown. But today, without any further ado, we're going to do a special update on the eggs and we're going to switch off the lights, lighten them up, Jared. So let's do that. See how they're doing. Let's have a little look and see how they're looking, Jared.
A little bit of water residue from the mouldy egg that's still there.
Can you see any veins in them?
There you go.
How would you do it, Jared? Show me how to do it. I've never done this before.
So the candle, you actually got to put it onto the actual...
Oh, okay.
Then you can see the veins.
Do they look healthy to you?
Yeah, they look good.
That's really good. Yeah,
Veins in that one.
Has that one got... That's got a few.
Oh. It's got veins.
Yeah, that one. Ooh, plenty of. So this is the cinnamon 100% het clown. That one's the one that's... Oh no, that one's got them. Yeah, that's...
It's this one here that's got none.
Okay, 4. So 5 with veins.
And this one.
That one got... Oh, that's going bad, Jared.
No,
I can tell you that now. That is... Oh no.
It's got like a little... Something little.
There's an embryo there, but I think that's going to go bad, Jared. Yeah. Is it worth us separating that?
I've tried separating it already, but it's a bit tight, so...
So that's one of the advantages of separating from the... That's why people separate them rather than put them naturally, Jared, is because they've had experiences where they struggle. You can put the light back on now, Jared. They struggle to get them separated, they go bad, and I think we've got to make a decision as to whether we carry on natural or whether we decide to separate them. I do like the new egg hatch, I think from Wales, they've got... You know the Hatchright, in America they've got these Hatchright trays. Well, apparently in the UK they've designed something which is even better, which I think Shane at Small Town Exotics did a nice video on, and I might get some and try them, Jared.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Because what they do is they angle them at an angle so there's more room for them to go in, and they made the cradle much bigger. And I think that it's worth us trying that, and maybe we should start separating eggs, even though I understand how good it is to go natural, but if we have any eggs with issues, it's much easier to separate from day one than it is to separate later.
Yeah.
And also the other top tip is always have some Scotch tape standing by, so when you separate, if they do open a little bit, I've seen Billy at Mutation Creation put some Scotch tape on those, Jared, and then they go for the full term, and they still hatch and survive. So the key is to have some Scotch tape around. The other thing is that Wayne suggested that we use this athlete's foot powder, which he thinks if you treat them early you can prevent them from going mouldy or spreading. So the other option we've got, Jared, is should we monitor them and see what happens, but if we can't separate them safely, isolate one egg. We did that last time, do you remember? We isolated one egg and we actually used a cotton bud, and this is just athlete's foot powder and it stops the mould from spreading and growing. But I also have heard of other theories where people believe that only one bad egg, the mould will stay on one bad egg, won't spread onto the others, but I'm not sure if that's right.
Well, so far this hasn't grown anymore after the last 2 days. So.
Yeah. And was the condensation levels a lot better for you this time? There's no need to dampen or dry anything off?
No, they're perfect now.
Okay. So anyway, thank you, Wayne. Should make it. Thank you, Wayne, for that. So we'll have a quick look at the girls. They've all fed yesterday, which is pleasing. And We've bought in some more Maltese, haven't we, Jad? Because
Yeah.
a lot of the girls, which ones do you think could be starting to look towards ovulating now, Jad? Because Penelope, you said, look how big she is, Jad.
Yeah, she hasn't eaten food for a while either.
So she could drop us some eggs, or she could ovulate soon, couldn't she?
Mhm.
Hopefully she's not going to reabsorb. She reabsorbed last year, but the banana went to her, so we're trying to do orange dream banana pins with her. You said that the Phantom girl is glowing
Phantom's
today.
glowing,
Let's
yeah.
have a look at her and see if she really is glowing. Do you think she is? Because the old saying is they glow before they go, Jared. Does that mean before they actually ovulate they glow?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not certain on that one.
So I'll tell you why I think that she's not going to ovulate for us yet. It's because she's still eating aggressively. Did she eat last night?
I don't think she did.
Okay, maybe she is starting to get to that point. She's certainly thickening out. So here we're going for Purple Passions. We put the Ultra Male Mojave to her, and they locked up really well. Panda Girl is going into shed. Just have a little look at our Panda Girl. That's really going quite dark, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's huge, and she didn't eat us. She hasn't eaten for a couple of weeks now, so she might be starting to get to that point.
The size of her makes me think that she might be.
Yeah, but I think she'll need a few more weeks yet, because she's only been a couple of weeks off food, and I think they need at least 4 weeks off food, I think, before they go, Jared. Celeste is an up and coming girl. So she's doing really well, Jared, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really pretty.
Yeah, she's always wanting to eat. And she's a pastel yellow belly phantom. So she'll produce some amazing offspring for us when she's ready. And sticking with the big girls, Cleo, our banana girl, has gone up to another level. Yeah, she's gone up to another level, Jared. Just look at how big she is, look.
Yeah, she's in a shed as well.
Yeah.
She's a bit wet.
She didn't eat, did she?
No.
She's looking like she's not far off 2,500 kilograms, maybe even more. So she's certainly stepped up another level from last year. She gave us some babies last year, didn't she?
Yeah.
And then this one here, you think she's getting bigger, Jared. This is the Sexy Lexi Spot Nose. What are your thoughts, Jared, on her?
She's getting a nice thick tummy to her.
So she's building her follicles.
Yeah.
She
didn't eat
with
yesterday,
Joker.
so.
Yeah, she went off food yesterday, so she might be starting to go off food. It's her first time breeding, so she might give us a small clutch. We'll see. Early days for her. And then I think we wanted to show Sienna. She's still feeding aggressively. She's the cinnamon 100% het Pride. There she is. She's packing on weight now, Jared.
Yeah.
She ate aggressively yesterday.
Yep.
She went late last time, so we're not expecting her to go for a while, but we'll keep an eye on her. Buttercup, we've moved her down a little bit because it was a bit cooler above. So should we have a look and see where Buttercup is?
Sure.
And she's a lot warmer in there. She's now gone up from 85 to 89. And I think she's a lot happier, Jared.
Yeah.
But again, she's packing on weight. And then we've got Cappuccino, which is the big girl. She's been off food for ages. I think she's the next one to give us a clutch, Jared. She looks like she's carrying eggs in there to me.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Hopefully.
Yeah, so hopefully some bells.
Daisy's massive.
Is gone massive, and she's also gone ready for shedding. Look how dark she's gone. She'll shed for us in the next couple of days. She looks quite big here, Jared.
Yeah.
But so she's coming on nicely. So that's good. Pringle, how's she looking? She looks big as well. Look at the size of her there, Jared. I think she's building follicles.
Yeah.
She didn't eat yesterday, did she? No. So some of the girls are starting to go off food. We just ordered some new food this morning, and we bought 100 Maltese, didn't we, Jared?
Yeah.
Because we want those Maltese for the girls and boys. And the final stages of the breeding season, I think they're going to come into their own, and they'd be quite useful to have. And here we've got Ray, who's still eating aggressively. She's shed out. Beautiful pumpkin pied. Incidentally, a lot of people liked the video yesterday, Jared, about the dreamsicles combos.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
She'll be an excellent candidate for the dreamsicle male too, Jared. We
Yeah,
get pieds, yellow belly in there, and we'll produce some het lavenders. So she's one of our animals that we'll probably use on that project. Butter 100% het clown. Again, she's building, Jared. Look at the size of her body here. See how the ridge, there's a ridge there?
Yeah.
So I think she's building follicles. And she didn't eat yesterday.
She didn't eat.
So now these girls are coming off food. This is the sign where they're starting to get to that final stage of building towards ovulation. So no worries there. No, it's to be expected. How did Amber get on yesterday, Joe? Because you fed last night, didn't you?
She ate.
She's still building. She ate a small rat,
Yeah.
so she's got a ways to go. She's building still, but it's really pleasing because last year she was really fussy eater. This year she's really going for it, so that's really good. And Colossus we've put into a bigger rub. She's in the house, so we're keeping an eye on her. She ate yesterday, and I think she had 2 meals yesterday. She had 2 small rats, and she had a multi-jailed. So she's building, still building, and we'll see how she's doing. But we've had to move her into the bigger rubs in the house because she's getting so big, and she's doing a lot better in a bigger space. So that's one of the reasons we moved her. We've also moved the Pastel girl into there as well because she was getting so big. Eventually, we will bring the bigger rubs into here, Jared, and you'll see that we'll invest in bigger rubs because as these girls get bigger, it's really important to move them onto bigger spaces. Because if you don't, they're not going to be happy and they'll let you know about it. So it's really important to prepare for any big girls that are getting bigger to move them into bigger spaces. I can't underestimate how important that is. Coco, the mocha girl, have a quick look at her, Jared. I put some nesting material in for her. We cleaned her out, so she's in nesting. She hasn't eaten for ages. I don't know what's going on with her. I'm hoping she's not absorbing, Jared, but we'll keep hoping. She's locking, so she's certainly getting enough male contact there. Athena ate, so she's definitely nowhere near ovulation. She's still eating aggressively.
She's big.
I can't believe she's packing on so much weight, Jared. Now we need to be careful that she doesn't get too big because we don't want any egg-bound females this year. It's really dangerous. So the top tip is that if you get a female that looks big, is don't worry about feeding her because she's got enough reserves, and it might be wise to step down the size of the prey. I think she took a multi anyway, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a small multi girl anyway, so she builds slowly. Venus, I think did she eat yesterday, Jared?
Yeah.
So she's still building, and she went late for us last time, didn't she? So I love it because we're going to have a staggered season here, Jared. Everything's not going to come all at once. It's going to be staggered over the next 6 months. Flame is in deep shed. Sprayed her down today. She'll shed out in the next couple of days. Has she been eating, Jared, or not?
No.
She never ate. It might be due to shed, but she's getting big. Calypso, your number 1 girl. She probably ate really well last night. She's about 1,300 grams. So we'll see where she goes, but if she gets up to 1,500-1,600, she'll be ready for November, won't she?
Yeah.
So we'll keep building her ready for the next season, I think. We've got about 10 girls that are coming up for next season. We won't go through them all with you, but we're super excited because it's all good. And I think we've covered virtually everything in the boys. We've got a few boys that didn't eat because they're in shed or they're breeding. So I think we'll now go on to the next part of the video, Jad, which is, Mother's brought you, either you or me.
Not me, I don't like them.
Pancake. So what I'll do, Jared, is do you want to have a look at the GeneX? Oh, there's a quote for the day first. I'll give you the quote for the day. And it's from Bruce Wayne, Batman. He said, "It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me." I like that. Mm-hmm. And there's another quote that says, "Be yourself." Unless, I think he said, "Be yourself." And why is it important to be yourself, Jared?
You don't want to be fake, you want to be real.
Yeah, you want to be real. But there's one exception to the rule, and that is that I think I read a quote. Let me see if I can get this right. It says, "Always be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then always be Batman." Which leads me on to tonight. Tonight, me and Dutchie are getting together, and Batman will be interviewing Dutchie Royal Pythons. So we'll broadcast that Thursday night, but we're going to be doing the recording tonight. So I'm looking forward to connecting with Dutchie, and we'll send you all the connection details, Dutchie, whether it's by Zoom or whatever method you want. So that's something to look forward to. And what else have we got here? It's my mum's 88th birthday, so 2 fat ladies 88 for playing bingo. So happy birthday to my mother. And I dropped a present over to her yesterday. And Mum and Dad sang me a beautiful song as well, which I've shared with our family. I won't share it on here, but it was beautiful. So sending Mum lots of birthday love, and we'll catch up a bit later, and I'll sing you a special for your birthday as well. So happy birthday to Mother. And we've also had some other feedback as well. So Hamlin thinks there's a lot of underweight snakes out there because he's picked up 2 from a breeder that were underweight, and he thinks that some people are either struggling with their collections or struggling with the technique of feeding. And I can understand that, Jab, because feeding hatchlings is not the easiest thing to start with, is it? You've showed me how to do it, and thank goodness I've got you doing it, because our hatchlings are doing well. But for the new breeders out there, they might be struggling feeding their hatchlings, and that could be one of the reasons why some of these snakes are underweight. It could be that we've had a big economic downturn here in the UK, so people are probably having to stretch their budgets further. Maybe they're feeding every 2 weeks instead of every week, so I can understand there are some concerns out there. But I think it's really important to try to keep your snakes fed as regularly as you can, because we are getting experiences amongst our subscriber base where people are acquiring snakes that are underfed. And I think Hamlin's doing a great job. He's assist feeding one of them, and that one took food, Jared, and then he's got another one that was undernourished that took food as well, so he's going to get them back up to size and get them going. So I think there is a humanitarian side to us, which means that when we're in the hobby, maybe we should look out for one another. Anyone that's struggling out there, maybe we'll do a video on how to assist feed, Jared, to help people out there that might be struggling, and maybe some techniques of how we can.
We do have one, don't we?
We do, but I want to do a thorough one, Jared.
Well, I can't, because all of ours are eating well, and I don't want to assist feed one.
Next season, Jared. What I'm saying is in the next babies.
Yeah.
Now, Joey said, awesome videos. He loves the dream schools. He'd like us to. He said, if you add enchi to your pieds, you're going to get more pattern, which I believe is correct, and that's something we're aware of. But thank you, Joey. And I think we have BG Pythons. He said that the yellow belly pastel pieds, he's got a yellow belly pastel pied that's 100% het for lavender, so he's a step ahead of us there. But he got that from JKR, and he said that
Justin Cabelga.
Yeah, he said that we're spot on with our plans. He thinks that we're spot on putting in Orange Dream and Yellow Belly. So he just gave us some reassurance that we're on the right track. And we wish you good luck with your projects. Let us know how you go, BJ Pythons. And then finally, Jush, he says they're really nice snakes. I want, please could you do a video on genetics? What creates hets, what creates double hets and triple hets, how to go about it. So maybe we'll do a video on that one as well at some point, Josh, for you. So, how much time do we have on the ticker, Jack?
10.
10 minutes, just enough time to cover one new gene. We're going to talk about the GeneX. It was found in 2015 by Justin Cabelka. He bought in a snake from Africa, and he thought it was very similar to a harlequin, but it had these roller coaster patterns on it, so the bands were all looking wavy on it, and it was kind of, it had extra different things. It looked like a normal, but it had a wavy pattern, and he thought it was quite unusual, and he thought it had possibly a harlequin in it. But he bred it to some of his pieds, and he found out it became a gene which he nicknamed GeneX, because he didn't know what it was. But of course the industry, when he released that GeneX, the industry decided to keep it as GeneX, and that's why it's called GeneX, because he didn't know what to call it. But apparently it's very difficult to isolate, and therefore he calls it a codom lineage gene, meaning that you've got to buy into a lineage, like the pied lineage. You can see the GeneX impact, but if you look at the GeneX itself, it's very difficult to distinguish between a normal and a GeneX. So he calls it a lineage line, in the sense that if you buy into a combo, like the pieds, you'll see the impact of the GeneX when you combine it with something else. So he found that when he mixed it to his pieds, they were way brighter and they were much more contrast. And we'll show you some of his examples. And he said the good thing about the gene, Jad, is as the animal pieds get bigger, the females and the males don't lose their colour so much.
It's ideal.
So if you want to have an adult that's still bright, like the pumpkin pieds, then you add GeneX to it, Jad. It's a brightening and enhancing gene, but it also does affect pattern. As I said, it's got some roller coaster sides, it's got smooth patterns with some extra fading. It will boost the colour, and he thinks it gives you insane quality. So let's jump onto that one. Higher intensity. Let's have a look at some of his combos, and I'll have my pancake later, that can be reheated. So let's have a little look at some of these. Now Justin's got a journal called the Ball Street Journal, which I think is quite funny. He's kept that name, and it gives you the history of all the GeneX on there. And you can see that he put it out in February 2016, and he explains the background to the story and how he got going. So you can see here that after years of waiting and pressure from customers, I'm finally putting down on paper the complete GeneX story. And the reason I've not gone into details before now is that GeneX by itself is a variable and subtle gene that's taken me years to figure out all its permutations. Okay, So I don't think he was trying to hide anything. I think he was literally trying to work it out. GeneX started with a captive hatched animal, an amazing, very odd girl with melted sides. You see the melted sides? They kind of melt down, they fade out. Okay. And with a unique belly striping that is closer to the centre of the belly than typical belly striping, so that goes all the way down to the centre of the belly rather than down to the side. So that's what he found unusual. The original GeneX female was put directly into his pied project the first year and reproduced her look in her first offspring. The following season, her lineage produced the world's first yellow belly pied, also known as a pumpkin pied, and that was back in 2008. Now, I didn't think much of this unique gene until others also began producing yellow belly pieds that were not as bright as my original. That is when I started to consider that this unnamed gene was having a significant influence. In order to give it a label for tracking it, my own collection, I called these animals GeneX. I never intended that the name would stick. In the past couple of seasons, I've been able to identify the gene more reliably as I've gone through nearly 4 generations, so up into 2015 was the first season I was able to focus on what combos it could make me. So it looks as though the gene's been around before 2015, 2008, but it was so subtle. He just saw a brighter version of his pumpkin pies and wondered, we could have it in our pumpkin pies. You know, we're worried about, we've got some pies that we think have got extra genes in them, we're not sure what they are. It could be, because a lot of the breeders that gave us these pies came from Justin's collection, we could actually have the GeneX built in without us even realising it, Jared.
Maybe.
So that's, you know, we couldn't identify some of our pies babies last year because they got the extra brightening. Maybe they've got GeneX. I'll be so pleased they have. So let's have a look at the non-pied GeneX. He puts a contrast on here for us. So a non-pied GeneX photos. There's your GeneX there. Okay, can you see the belly patterns go all the way down to the centre of the belly? And they fade out. And then that's the het pied influence there. So he's put that to a pied. That's what happens. So we're just trying to see the roller coaster. See the roller coaster riding? Kind of roller coaster up, down, roller coaster riding. This is another one from a different angle. You can see how it's slightly different to a normal. It's got similar characteristics to a normal, hasn't it?
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
A few differences.
This is the first Pastel GeneX adult on a clutch here that he got. There she is. Can you see the patterns there? Beautiful. See, look at these down here, going all the way down to the belly. And you can see, look how bright she is. See how it brightens up the genes. I know she's glowing as well because she's a mother, but now this is the implication here. So he's now showing you a Pastel GeneX pied bottom versus the regular at the top. So there's your GX, and these are your non-GX. Now look at the difference in pattern and smoothness, and look at the dark contrast, the blacks. Can you see the impact there, Chad? Mm-hmm. So it's an enhancing gene that stays in adulthood. And I think, if you speak to a couple of our friends, I believe that Ed has put an offer, or wants to put an offer on a GeneX pied in Europe, if you can get it here. And Ed, you're spot on, because I think you're homing in on quality here. This is a Pastel GeneX pied here. Look how beautiful that baby is, Jared. Gorgeous?
Yeah.
The blacks and yellows, the contrast there. I think that's lovely. And that's that one in the egg. Look at the crazy patterns, Jared. I mean, when that must have popped out, you must have just...
It's nuts.
Would you have loved to have a baby like that?
Yeah.
We may well do, but gorgeous. So thank you, Justin, for sharing everything. And then he gives us some other examples here. There's a Pastel Enchi yellow belly with no GeneX, and then he contrasts it with this one that does have the GeneX. Look at the difference. Can you see the difference, Jared?
A lot brighter in colour.
Brighter in colour, and more subtle, I think. And there seems to be more white in this one as well.
That's just pied.
Is that just how pieds go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get high white, you get low white.
Look at the patterns. So that's not got orange stream, but it looks like it's got orange stream in it. That's what it does. It has the impact of bringing in the OD effect. Now imagine if you add orange stream to that, it's going to get even brighter. So let's go on to the next one. So here you have 2 other contrasts. So you have your Pastel Enchi pied without the GeneX, and that's with the GeneX. Now look what it does. See how it smooths things out. See the smoother pattern? Much smoother here.
It's hard to tell because with pieds, they're all different.
Yeah.
Like you might get one really low white, one really high white, and they'll look completely different. But
let's see the next one. So this one is the one with a GeneX combo, so I think you're going to see Coral Glow GeneX Pieds compared to. So look, there's the GeneX Pied combo. Can you see the intensity? Gorgeous, yeah. Gorgeous. And then you start adding Coral Glow or Banana. Look at the intensity. There's no orange dream in that. Have you ever seen a banana glow that much?
No.
Gorgeous, eh?
Yeah.
And then the last one he's given us here is the GeneX Piebald there, which I think is a stunning looking snake.
That's Coral Glow GeneX.
Yeah, well, Coral Glow and Banana are actually the same in my book. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of questions that he answers, so if you want to know how he would describe a GeneX, he gives you the answer, which I've already given you. Roller coaster rides, belly striping, lots of fading, blushing, especially in adults. Few Harley genes proved to be genetic. So there's a version called the Harley gene, proves to be genetic, however GeneX might be the same. Is there a super form? I have had a couple of clutches from GeneX to GeneX pairings, but they were full of pieds. So we're not sure if there's a super form. He says there's a codon, which means there should be a super form, if that's the case. Is it attached to the pied gene? No, GeneX was imported separate from the pieds, and he has a couple of GeneXs that have disproven being het pied. Het pieds themselves are known to be odd looking, so sometimes it's hard to sometimes know where they are. What does it do in pied combos? The pics above should be clear. It brings out a lot of orange in pied combos as well as softening, brightening patterns. Surprisingly, it seems to bring more white in Enchi pied combos. So if you want to bring the Enchi up a little bit, it brings more white in, Jared. It does actually do that. I would recommend this video. I'll put a link on this video to you. Justin goes through and explains the GX as a Christmas special a couple of years ago. How much time we got, Jared?
3 minutes.
We've got 3 minutes, so have a look at that. I mean, there are a couple of clips that I could show you, but I think it's best if you guys look at the video. And if you want to get into the GeneX, I would highly recommend it. In terms of prices, I haven't shown you the prices of them. It's always good to know what prices they are, Jared. So look at the American market first. Let's have a little look at this one. So there's a GeneX Pied Ball. Gorgeous. Look how bright that is, Jared. Do you know how much that's going to cost you? Have a guess.
600.
So the price for that one is $750 US, £600. Spot on, Jared. Well done. Good estimate. Let's look at a more high-end one now, which is on hold. So this one here is a visual 150. That's €590 from Europe. And then let's see if I can find a collection for you. So there we go, these are the ones in Europe. I think we showed you that one yesterday, the GeneX Fire on one of our A to Zs. You can pick up some which are, I'm not sure those €400. GeneX, okay, there you go, 350 euros for a GeneX het pied ball. So that's quite female. That's quite a nice way of getting into it. And then you can see the other ones here, 550 for that one. GeneX Fire 790. It's a nice combination. I do like the Firefly version, Jared. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really does pop out, doesn't it? And what else ones have we got here? We've got the Enchi one. See that? Beautiful. Enchi Pieds. And then let's see which ones are sold. So you're looking at about £500 or £600. This one's a pastel one, £700 here. VGM Royals. It's been sold. And then that one is the Pie Ball. So we haven't got a lot more time. I could show you the American, but I think we'll let you see that for yourself. So you can get into the project for £300 or £400. And just to finish off now, I think we've just about covered everything we need to cover, Jared. Is there anything you wanted to cover yourself?
No.
So have a lovely day. Happy birthday to my mother. I shall catch up with you soon, Mother. And we shall see you tomorrow on the next New Forest Morphs video. Bye bye for now.